Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lizel Ramos, and I work with the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. And Danielle Delgado is here with us today, and she works with the vocational rehabilitation, but I wanted to say like the right full name anyway. Welcome. And John is going around giving out our PowerPoint presentation. So make sure you follow him, make sure you get one, and I'll let Danielle introduce herself and get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me just fine? Okay. Today's presentation is a joint presentation between the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation and the Agency for Persons with Disability. Our focus is on sharing information about vocational rehabilitation and APD and how the agency can collaboratively, wow, can we say that word, together to provide information primarily on supported employment. My name is Danielle Delgado. I am the VR consultant analyst in the Orlando office. I've been with vocational rehab for 20 years, and supported employment is my passion. I love working with people with most significant disabilities and assist them find employment. All our contact information will be provided at the end of this presentation. And also my co-partner here is Lisa Ramos. She's the program administrator from the APD state office in Tallahassee. And we do welcome questions during the presentation, but if you do have a specific question regarding a specific case for your child or family member, we do request that you can ask us one-on-one at the end of the question. But if you have a general question about our eligibility, please feel free to just raise your hand and we will answer the questions. Next slide. The overview. Our goal is to share a basic overview of available services and assist you with additional information about supported employment and few related services. We will share who is eligible for those services and how you can apply for these important services. Lisa will now share information on the benefit of employment and why we feel employment is an important option for all individuals.
Thank you. Okay, so both the Agency for Persons with Disabilities and the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation recognize the benefits of employment as a priority for both of our agencies. The benefits of employment include self-sufficiency. We support people who want to work and so that they can become more self-sufficient with their money and their choices. Having income will increase their independence, as it does for many of us. And people who work are typically more self-sufficient and they relate easier to other people. Also relationships with other people at work and relationships at home and in the community. Employment will allow more opportunities for social activities, social interactions that build relationships with others in the community. Inclusion in community activities. So having an income allows people to go into the communities and enjoy activities and other social events that may interest them. Better health. Research has shown that employment has social, psychological, and financial benefits that improve the overall health of every person, increase self-esteem, self-worth, and it's another benefit of employment, and it allows an overall improvement in self-esteem and self-employment, and of course, success. Employment gives the individual a sense of purpose and meaning, which in return provides them with much success in life. I can't pass and have that in my hands at the same time. Here we Okay, so for employment to be a success, we need to work as a team. And here are a few examples of how the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation and APD work as a team. APD support coordination is a service that we provide to everyone on our waiver. It is a mandatory service to all individuals who receive services from the iBudget waiver. Waiver support coordinators are responsible for advocating on behalf of the individual, identifying, developing, coordinating, and accessing supports and services on the individual's behalf through a person-centered approach, regardless of the funding source. And of course, there's other providers that provide services to the individual who's receiving services through the waiver. APD works with local community and private providers to support the people who have developmental disabilities and their families in living, learning, and working in their communities. Then we have the VR counselors. And so they assist individuals in determining if they're eligible for VR services and what types of services may be of benefit. VR services are individualized. The counselor and the individual work together to determine an individual plan for employment. The counselor also works with approved providers to support the individual and receive selected services. Employment specialists. These develop appropriate job placement opportunities and services to meet the individual's needs. A job coach provides training and support to all clients who have employment or who want employment in a competitive, integrated setting. And natural supports. Of course, anybody who receives services from either VR or APD services benefit from the support from their families and other people in their lives, friends, people who care about the individual and who are willing to support them without being paid.
While VR and APD collaborate, they are different agencies. Just to give you a little bit information about VR. VR is a state agency that receives a blend of funding from federal funds and state funds. These allow VR to offer services to almost over 50,000 people a year. We have a variety of services, but our mission is to assist individuals to pursue a career of their own choosing. The services will be highlighted primary today is supported employment and some related services.
The Agency for Persons with Disabilities is a state agency that supports people with developmental disabilities in living, learning, and working in their communities. APD works in partnership with local communities and private providers to assist people who have developmental disabilities and their families. And APD has also been delegated by the Agency for Healthcare Administration to administer the day-to-day operations of the Florida iBudget waiver. The services allow persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities to remain in the community while receiving support for activities of daily living, personal, medical, and dental care. In Florida, there are around 35,000 people who currently receive services through the waiver.
VR serves individuals with a variety of disabilities. We do not have a list of specific disabilities, so you don't have to have a specific disability. As a VR counselor, the VR counselor works with individuals to determine their eligibility. And in order to determine your eligibility, you have to have a physical or mental impairment that result in a substantial impediment to employment. And the services you will obtain is to prepare for, gain, or retain employment. That's the benefit of VR. The disability must provide an impediment to the employment, and the individual must be able to benefit from those services that are offered. For supported employment, the individual must have a most significant disability. And of course, in order to determine that, if you do have a most significant disability, you will work one-on-one with your VR counselor to determine what category you fall. We can provide employment services as well as assisting individuals in gaining training and education that will help them on their career path. Services are focused on assisting the youth and adult always, with the ultimate goal is always employment. We are an employment-focused agency.
The Agency for Persons with Disabilities has a list of disabilities that we serve. We serve individuals, and we serve more than 50,000 people throughout the state of Florida. 35,000 of them receive services through our home and community-based waiver, the iBudget waiver, which you may have heard mentioned throughout the conference. But we do have over 23,000 people on a waiting list. They're clients of the agency. They have been determined to be eligible, but they receive services, more limited amount of services, through a funding mechanism called IFS. And we serve individuals with severe forms of autism, people who have cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, intellectual disabilities with an IQ of 70 or below, Prader-Willi syndrome, spina bifida, and Phelan-McDermid syndrome. We also serve children between the ages of 3 and 5 who are at high risk of developing a developmental disability. In order to be eligible to receive services from the agency, in addition to having one of these diagnoses, the applicant must be at least 3 years of age, be a resident of and domiciled in the state of Florida, and have a confirmed diagnosis of one of these developmental disabilities by the age of 18.
VR role is to assist eligible individuals in obtaining employment and enhancing the opportunity for independence. VR counselors work closely with individuals and provide guidance and counseling to assist individuals to assess their strengths, skills, interests in order to plan on an individualized plan for employment. The goal is to develop a pathway to enriching career path. Training, education, and a host of support are available to support the goal. VR has some broad parameters that basically, if a person needs a service or support to be able to work, we can provide it. An example may be that if a person needed time-limited medical or psychological services, we could assist if it helped that person on their way to employment. We aren't a medical program, but we can assist with any services if it's related to that individual becoming employed.
So the Agency for Persons with Disabilities, our role is to identify individuals who have expressed a desire to work in an integrated, in a competitive, integrated community setting. The waiver support coordinators assist with a referral process to VR. So by filling out the referral form, including the most recent, pertinent, and applicable information related to the individual's employment goals, they send a referral that also identifies barriers and employments for exploration. So individuals who are eligible for APD services, if they have an employment goal, we would refer them to VR to receive what's called Phase 1 employment services. If VR is unable to serve the individual, APD will assist them with job placement. APD will provide the medically necessary and community-based services that allow the individual to work at or above minimum wage in a fully integrated community setting. APD will also help by providing medically necessary employment supports for the individual to maintain their current job. Sorry. All right. So in here, I'd like to mention a little bit about what types of services APD provides to our clients. We provide services called life skills development. There's life skills development 1, 2, and 3. And so those would be the types of services for a meaningful day activity. And they include companion, supported employment, and adult day training services. We also provide personal supports, respite for children under the age of 21, consumable medical supplies, durable medical equipment. Support coordination is a service that's mandatory for all individuals who receive services from the waiver. We also have transportation to provide to and from a waiver-approved service, several therapies, supported living coach, and supported living coach would be for individuals who reside in a supported living setting, meaning that they live in an apartment or their own home, but need services such as personal supports and supported living coach to assist with their finances, to be able to assist with meal preparation or things of that nature. Residential habilitation, and we have several different types of residential habilitation programs, such as behavior-focused, intensive behavior. So depending on the need for behavioral supports would be the type of residential habilitation group home type placement that they would go into. Dental services, behavior analysis, behavior assistance, specialized mental health counseling, and nursing services.
As you can see, VR, we are an employment agency. We do provide services in order for eligible individuals to become employed. You have to have, of course, a desire to become employed. As you can see, employment is the theme. You have to have a physical or mental disability that interferes with your ability to become employed, and then we can assist you with those limitations. But what we really like to focus on is we look at what you can actually do. We don't always like to look at limitation. We want to look at your skills. We want to look at what you're good at. So there's always a way we can assist you find employment. And also we do receive federal and state funding, and also we do have other partnerships, just like the partnership we have with the agency with persons with disabilities. We do provide many services. We provide medical and psychological assessments to determine eligibility. We provide vocational evaluation and planning to determine what will be the best career path for our consumer, anyone that would like to at least try employment. We do career counseling. We provide guidance. We do also provide training and education after high school. We have job site assessment and accommodation. Of course, if you require accommodations in order to become employed or to maintain the employment you already have, we do make those assessments and we try to facilitate those accommodations. We provide job placement. Obviously, our goal is employment, so we do assist you with becoming employed, and job coaching as well. And we provide discovery. That's one of my favorite services. A lot of time individuals come in and they like, oh, I don't know how to work. I don't know if I'm able to work. Well, discovery is such a great service. It will look at everything that you can do. I always believe that if there is something out there you can do, we will find it. And through discovery, that is a great service. On the job training, we provide that as well. Maybe you can learn different skill while you are on the job, while you're earning a wage, you can learn different skill. Supported employment, that's the focus of today. This presentation is regarding supported employment. We want to work with individuals with the most significant disability. Just because you have a most significant disability, that doesn't mean you cannot be gainfully employed and have some sense of independence. That's very important. We do provide assistive technology and devices. We do provide time-limited medical and psychological treatment, and there are many more services that we provide, and every service that we provide is based on your unique circumstance in order for you to become employed.
So this slide, it's one of the most exciting things that we are working on. Florida is considered to be an employment-first state. And we're working together with to make employment available for all individuals. Both APD and VR are committed to helping individuals with disabilities reach their employment goals at or above minimum wage in integrated community settings. The Florida legislature enacted the Employment First Act in January of 2016. As such, Florida became an employment-first state. The Employment First Act provides an official work frame for a long-time commitment to improving employment outcomes for individuals with disabilities in this state. This became law in January of 2016. Also, when Governor Scott was our governor, he signed an order mandating the creation of an interagency cooperative agreement among specific state agencies that provide services to individuals with disabilities to ensure that the continuation of the long-term commitment improves the employment outcomes for all persons with disabilities. APD and VR are just two of the 11 organizations that form part of this interagency cooperative agreement for the Employment First implementation. All of these agencies are now working together to share resources, to communicate on a continual basis, share best practices, and offer mutual training. And one more thing that is not on this slide is that just recently, the Agency for Persons with Disabilities went into a memorandum of agreement with the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation Services to improve our communication for any time we send referrals to VR. We have now a mechanism whereby we can receive communication from the VR counselor about the person's first appointment, and then when the person is ready, as I mentioned earlier, VR provides phase 1 employment services. That means that APD provides phase 2 employment services. They provide the more intense type of services to make sure that the individual finds, gets trained and finds appropriate job. Then we provide less intense employment services to make sure that they can continue and sustain the employment opportunity. So we're really excited about this memorandum of agreement that recently went into effect, and we sure hope that it's going to improve our communications and services for the people that we serve. So APD provides supported employment in 3 different ways. One of them is through a group model, which includes a small group model working at a company's work site, where persons in this type of work, they work as a team with training, supervision, and support provided by a job coach. Also, there's individual supported employment approach, where a supported employment coach helps an individual to move more from dependence on a service delivery system to a more independent via competitive integrated employment. And also there is self-employment in supported employment, which is working for oneself with direct control over work and services undertaken, and can include micro-enterprise arrangements, including proprietorship, partnership, and corporations. So job seekers who select supported employment contribute to the development of a business, service product, or perform a core function of the business.
VR required that all employment to be competitive and integrated, meaning that individual needs to make the same wages as other individuals and the employment take place in a community location. The primary service that we are highlighted today is supported employment services. Supported employment services is designed as a unique service that supports individuals with most significant disabilities. VR can only support the individual model of employment. We provide the support and services needed to help find a job, to do well at the job, and when the individual stabilize at the job, our partners such as the Agency for Person with Disability provides the long-term support, so to ensure that you continue success. We also provide self-employment, self-supported employment. It's a specialized service for individuals interested in starting their own business. VR can fund specialists to help with the business plan from the beginning to the start of the business. We also provide customized employment. It's another employment option where an employment specialist assists in creating jobs for an individual that might not have existing before or develop very specialized duties. We provide also youth services. We already mentioned that we provide a variety of youth services to help the youth plan for or prepare for a career. On-the-job training and work-based learning experience provide opportunities for youth and adults to gain skill and explore potential area of interest. A disability should not limit anyone's career aspiration or job prospect. What I really believe is that we want to make sure that everyone is included. Everyone can do something. We don't want to exclude anyone, and if you do have a significant disability or a disability and you are interested in finding employment, please come to us. At least give us the opportunity for us to determine if you can work and find what you are able to do. Finding success and satisfaction at work is the ultimate about identifying an individual interest and where their stronger attributes and skill lie. This is one of the quotes, inclusion elevates all. So we want to make sure that we include everyone. If you do have a will to find employment, give us the opportunity that we may assist you find your career path.
So it is your decision to work. So once a person has expressed an interest or in getting a job, it is important that they identify what kind of job do I really want to do? What is it that with the help of their family and their paid supports, they can do for work? They need to determine if they're ready to start making money and if their income will affect their benefits. They also must consider what will happen to their health coverage or Medicaid. Both VR and APD employment coaches are there to assist the individual with decision making and guiding them on how to access the SSA work incentives. Supported employment services provided under the iBudget waiver consist of training and assistance to help support an individual in job development and sustain paid employment at or above minimum wage in a competitive, integrative setting. And I think you've heard us say this over and over through our presentation, that it is a job at or above minimum wage in a competitive, integrative setting. Anything that does not meet that criteria it really is no longer anything that we can support. So the provider assists the individuals with the acquisition, retention, or improvement of skills related to accessing and maintaining employment or developing and operating a small business. With the assistance of the provider, the individual receives help in securing employment in an integrated community setting according to the individual's knowledge, skills, abilities, support needed, desired goals, and planned outcomes.
VR and APD both have responsibility to provide supported employment services to individuals with most significant disabilities who wish to obtain employment. VR role is to provide phase 1 services, which are the intensive services that assist individuals to prepare for and obtain employment. VR only supports jobs that are real jobs in the community. They must pay at least minimum wage, must be an individual job. VR works with approved provider to assist individual with applying for job, preparing for interviews, dressing for success, and developing resume and other readiness skills. Once a job is located, the employment specialist, the job coach, works with the employer and the individual to provide training that would lead to success. VR also ensures that all individuals have the ongoing support that are needed by working with partners such as Agency for Persons with Disabilities who will provide the long-term supports.
So APD Phase 2 supported employment is defined as long-term, ongoing supports needed to maintain employment indefinitely. These billable support activities include ongoing systematic contacts with supported employees to determine the need, intensity, and frequency of supports needed to maintain productivity, social inclusion, and maintain employment. Remedial on-the-job training to meet productivity expectations, consultation and refinement of natural supports or other elements important to maintaining employment, and also related work supports such as accessing transportation and other supports necessary for the individual to maintain their job, or consultation to family members or other members of the individual's support network, including employers and co-workers. So the legislature and the governor appropriated $1 million for APD for this coming fiscal year to provide supported employment services to individuals who are on our waiting list. And we have had these funds recur throughout the last several years. These funds are provided to individuals who participate as job seekers in our Employment Enhancement project. And the funds are used for the following services: supported employment coaching to secure a good job match, supported employment follow-along services to help retain the job, assistance with transportation needed for work for a limited time, and securing internships and paid internships as pathways to competitive integrated employment. These funds are specific and are separate from the supported employment service that is provided through the waiver. These are specific for individuals who are on our waiting list, and that's part of our commitment to helping all our clients obtain competitive integrated employment. So individuals meeting the criteria in any Florida county may be considered for participation in the Employment Enhancement project. The intent is for APD, local school districts, local workforce career centers, and other collaborating agencies and organizations to work together to assist young adults who are leaving school and others who are currently on the APD waiting list to secure competitive integrated employment.
I just wanted to share a little information about a portion of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. You may want to be aware that this law impacts individuals who wish to participate in sub-minimum wages. Youth under 24 must apply for VR services and complete some requirement before they are eligible to pursue sub-minimum wage employment. Typically, sub-minimum wage employment is found in sheltered workshop, some day program. The requirement makes sure that all youth know that what their options are before choosing this type of employment. It requires that even adults who are in this type of employment are provided career counseling services so that they are also aware of their employment opportunities. Section 511, another requirement is for VR and APD to work together to develop a memorandum of agreement to enhance services to mutual customer that we have in common. I am the liaison for APD and VR for supported employment services. My information will be provided at the end of this presentation. So if you have an individual that may be interested in employment, if you're not sure, you can always shoot me an email, and I always will make sure that your information is provided to the appropriate person that may be able to assist you. And even if it's an APD question, I know who to forward that email to so that someone can, from the APD agency, may be able to assist you. Because the ultimate goal is we want to make sure that we provide services in a timely manner and that we work together to have the most favorable outcome for the individual applying for both of our services if employment is the goal. Okay. Oh, you're already there. She beat me to it. There are different ways that you can apply for VR services. The best way is you can go through the vrworks.org and you can look up whichever area you live in, and then it will give you the VR offices, address, phone numbers, email. You do have a variety of ways. You can call the local office and ask to complete a referral and schedule an appointment. You can either complete the referral on the website and then you can fax it or email it to the appropriate person. And of course, if you're not sure, there's always the 1-800 number that you can call, and the person will answer and will tell you which office to apply for. We try to really make it easy. If you call anyone, even if you call the Orlando office and you live in Tallahassee, we'll find someone in Tallahassee you can talk to, and we'll send that referral, so we make sure that you start services, at least the application process, to determine if you're eligible and employment is what you're seeking.
And anyone wishing to apply for services from the Agency for Persons with Disabilities can go to our website at apdcares.org. And in there, you can click on the Customers tab and scroll down to find our service application. The service application is available in English, in Spanish, and Haitian Creole. You would have to print it and fill it out and submit it to the nearest office that serves wherever you reside. In order to find out what that nearest office is, you can also find that information on our website. You can call this number, 1-866-APD-CARES, and we'll be happy to assist you with any information related to the application, the intake, the eligibility determination process. You can email us also, and the email is apd.info@apdcares.org. And there's also the website where you can find our application. Again, it's apdcares.org, and go to customers. And here's our information. We didn't mention this, but both Danielle and I are subbing for your real presenters. Your, your presenters are Jan Pierce from VR in Tallahassee, and she was not able to make the conference. And for APD, we had Kirsten Lee. She was not able to make the conference either. So we stepped in. I hope that we provided you with the information that you needed about employment services. We will be more than happy to stay here and answer any questions you may have. Here's our contact information. Please call us. Our main goal is to support anyone who wishes to work. So if you know somebody with a disability who would like to work, we will be happy to help with that process. And like Danielle said, if there's any type of place in the community where you can work, we will be happy to find it. We'll figure out how to find it, and we'll help you find it and get it and keep it and sustain it. So are there any general questions that you would like for us to answer?
I just wanted to check the Employment Enhancement Project. We contact your agency. Yes. Okay, just wanted to verify. Thanks.
Yes. The Employment Enhancement Project is specific for individuals who are on the waiting list for APD waiver services. I mentioned earlier we have over 23,000 people on our waiting list. Those funds are appropriated specifically for those who are on our waiting list. Yes.
Hi, I have two questions. How do you actually screen the employers to make sure we have the right kind of people?
Do we screen employers? That's a good question.
Actually, what we do is we look at the individual and what their strengths are. Of course, if we place them with an employer, we make sure that that's the best fit for that individual and their limitation as well as their skills. We're not going to place someone in an employer that is not a fit. We are person-centered, so we look at the individual, we look at what they can do, and then we try to find an employer that best suit their needs. And of course, the employer, we work with the employer one-on-one, so we're not going to place an individual with a disability where that if they work in that environment, it will exacerbate their disability. In a way, we do screen employers, but once again, we are coming to the employer to ask them to assist our individual find employment. So we cannot just go in that establishment and make demands. We try to work collaboratively with the employer just to make sure that the outcome for that individual that we are working with is a positive outcome so they can maintain that employment. I hope that answers your question.
And the job coaches also continue to work. It's not like they will put somebody in a work environment and then leave. They need to maintain an active communication with both the client and the employer to make sure that they're meeting, that they, like Danielle said, that they're a good fit. And if there are any concerns or anything rises up, then if it's time to look for another employment, then they'll do that. Any other questions? Yes, for all our providers do have background screenings, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, hold on just a second. Let me get you this.
And these services start at 18, correct?
Yes, supported employment services are for individuals over 18 and over. Yes. Is that the same in VR?
We do provide supported employment for individual 14 and up, but between 14 to 22, if they decide to maintain in school and 22, we do provide employment-related services, so they can become ready at the age of 18 if they do not want, example, go to college, if they after they age out of school or graduate high school, we do provide them employment services. But our services start at the age of 14. So they can become ready once they're 18 to become gainfully employed.
There was another hand.
Thank you.
Can you just say a little bit about what type of transportation's provided?
So I know for APD clients, transportation services are provided for individuals to go to and from their waiver-approved services. Like transportation through the waiver cannot be provided to go to work. Now, for individuals on the waiting list, there may be some transportation that can be provided for through the Employment Enhancement Project for those who are served through the EEP program. How about VR?
And for VR, we do provide transportation assistance for VR-related services, and all those services have to lead to employment, and we also provide transportation assistance to go to and from work as well.
Yes.
Hi. My daughter is in VR. She's already in VR, but she's too high functioning to qualify for APD, so I've been concerned about transportation when she's able to start working. The transportation services, will they always be available to her, or is there a time limit on them?
I do recommend that you contact her vocational rehabilitation counselor, because I don't know the specific about your daughter's case. We do provide transportation assistance for employment and employment-related services. And if she does need transportation to go to and from work, she may be eligible for us to assist, but I don't want to speak on a specific case if I'm not sure. I would recommend for you to contact a vocational rehabilitation counselor, schedule an appointment, and discuss transportation with the counselor. Okay?
Regarding that question, do you coordinate the training, or does the support coordinator have to do it? Regarding that same question for transportation, does the voc rehab person coordinate training, or does the support coordinator have to go through the iBudget system and get money for that transportation?
Okay. So transportation for individuals who are APD clients who receive services through the waiver needs to be arranged. The waiver support coordinator will help them to get funding for the transportation to go to and from waiver services. So no. APD provides the iBudget waiver services. VR will provide the VR services are a different blend of services. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? It's okay.
Can I get my speech therapy?
Speech therapy. So are you on the waiver or on the waiting list? Okay. Okay. So it looks like speech therapy is okay. So you can always talk to your waiver support coordinator about any additional speech therapy that's needed. Okay? Okay. Alrighty. So again, Danielle and I will be happy to stay after the presentation, and if you have any specific questions, we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for coming today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.